most disrespected people on earth. It's because we are considered poor. And this was by design. From when the children of Africa were taken out of Africa as slaves, systems were put in place to see to it that we will never have financial independence. We will never have financial liberation. In Africa, a time of independence from the 1950s to the 1960s, we were given this limited fake liberation, fake political liberation, liberation that to a great extent they use their funds to make sure that they choose who they want to be the leaders of our nations. What was never given to us was economic liberation.
Welcome again, brothers and sisters, to another video of the Black Econ Network Channel. My name is Neville Farkey, and I'm the coordinator of the channel. This is video number 8, and most of this video will be to show you a video, one of videos made by Dr. Arikana, and this video was sent to me during the course of this week by my good friend in near Maypen, brother Conroy W., who has become an advisor, maybe even my main unofficial advisor. He sent this to me, and I want to say thanks to him, also generally for his input, his comments, criticisms, advice, everything about improving the channel. This video, which I'm going to show, most of it, or almost all of this entire video, except for the end part at the end, which involves a telephone conversation that Dr. Arikana is having with a lady. But I'm going to show most of this video, and because I think it is so important, it might be the most important video I have shown on this channel so far. It wasn't my plan to do this. My plan was to do the second part, or a follow-up to the previous video, and which was financing to start your business or to grow it, different ways of financing the business currently available, different kinds of financing, also an easy way to plan your business. But I changed it because this video by Dr. Arikana, I think, is so important that I decided to substitute this video. So I will do the video in the complete video this time, or almost all of it this time, and I will repeat parts of it in later videos. The video is about, Dr. Arikana shares what I consider a special key to a door, to a big door, maybe one of the biggest doors to climb the economic pyramid. And there are, what it is basically, and you will see, it is showing you different ways that you can invest in Africa. Africa is the place that she focuses on. People who don't know about Dr. Arikana, she's was the OAU Ambassador to the USA and Diaspora, and she's such a fantastic lady that I've seen many of her videos, but this one was to me that my friend sent to me was very outstanding. It's a big door to climb on the economic pyramid. There are other doors, of course, and doors that lead to the different staircases, different stairs to climb up the pyramid for us to move from the bottom of the pyramid and to move up so that we move to positions like the other races and not to be at the bottom for so long.
Cooling on a couch, watching TV. Go up, feeling nothing but lazy. Feeling to some nothing else to do. Might as well go to the board and drop something brand new. Feeling on the dice, throwing shit down. Making me hard to the sound. About to stop. Hungry that I'm up for the plug now. Cause I found out you liking this. Don't you want it back? Don't you want it back? Don't you want it?
However, I will say one little thing about the video. I think that most of us, and I will just again point to that picture on the wall. This is a different picture. As you notice, I keep changing them on the wall, which this one with Garvey says to make use of every opportunity. And if there is none, you create it yourself. And my comment on this, which I was weighing whether or not I should make my comment before or after the video, but I want to make the comment now because although I will encourage you to watch this entire video, I want to make the comment early, just in case you don't get a chance to watch the entire video now. Just like I've been saying, we will need to pool our resources even to make the first step that the ladder, the first step on the ladder using the key that Dr. Arikana has given, is sharing with us. Now, most people, most African people, most Black people in the middle class and the poor class, we do not have the financial strength to make the first step, to start, to climb the first step alone. And of course, I've said it before, I'm not in favor of one-manism. And again, we will need to pool resources, starting with another business partner or more than one business partner, but I don't, not too many. And to use part of our savings and our income to make the start. Or we will have to link with other family members or business-minded relatives. And I'm always talking about business-minded people, not just any relative or person you know. I'm talking about business-minded people. And so business partners, link with family or relatives, or start or use your cooperative if you're a member of a cooperative, or start an informal cooperative and later you make it formal, but make the start. You don't have to wait to make things formal before you start. Matter of fact, sometimes it's good to start, and then when you see how things are going, you make the formal arrangement. Or the other alternative, of course, is to use existing company if you have one, or to form one. But it's most important, I think, this is business, and generally these kinds of arrangements, best to have things in writing, even among close friends or family members. It's good to have things in writing, and to include, you can look up a legal document, or if you have a trusted lawyer. Most lawyers we know are I don't want to say it, but most lawyers are tricky people. But if you have a trusted lawyer, then it's good to get the lawyer even to review any document that you prepare. Finally, I want to say this is business and there are risks involved. So it's best to start small, plant the seed, and to grow the tree just like a mango tree until it starts bearing, and it will take time. This is one of the, I want to say, one of the quickest ways, not necessarily easiest way, might not be very difficult, but the financial starting might be a problem for many people.
Most disrespected people on earth. It's because we are considered poor. And this was by design. From when the children of Africa were taken out of Africa as slaves, systems were put in place to see to it that we will never have financial independence. We will never have financial liberation. In Africa, a term of independence from the 1950s to the 1960s, we were given this limited fake liberation, fake political liberation, liberation that to a great extent they use their funds to make sure that they choose who they want to be the leaders of our nations. What was never given to us was economic liberation. Those multinational companies that operated in Africa from colonization, they simply went underground. They went low. They no longer talked about their activities in Africa, but they never left since colonization. I want everybody to understand that. During colonization, after the Berlin Conference, when they divided us up into the tiny little countries that we are today, if you were colonized by the British, you were ruled from London. If you were colonized by the French, we were ruled from France, from Paris, and so forth. What happened as we were being given our independence, they simply came up with a strategy to say, these monkeys, like they called us, they're trying to wake up now. Well, we're gonna show them who really is important. We'll give them this fake independence. Those who tried to wake up and began to look like they understand the game and they wanted to play the rules fairly, they got killed. They were assassinated. And so the few that stayed behind, they got scared and they stopped talking. So this is really where we are. Where leaders were scared into talking, were scared into speaking truth to power, were scared into standing up and defending ourselves because of the consequences of defending your turf. And so while all that is going on, the conversation that never took place was the conversation about economic liberation. We're talking about how do we take back Africa's natural resources? How do we control our natural resources? That liberation was never given to us. And we all jump on the bandwagon and think we are free. Yeah, we are free and poor. We are free, we have some power with no knowledge, power with no financial base to back it. It's useless power. It's like telling me you can go fight, but I have no guns. And those I'm fighting with have guns. And that is the situation we're in as Africans. Today, we're saying we must educate and inform each other about what is going on in Africa, particularly when it comes to our natural resources under the ground. That is a conversation we don't even go to. And yet, if we are to liberate ourselves as Black people in Africa and around the world, that is where we should start the conversation. It's about how we take over our natural resources, starting with mining. If I may remind all of you today, as we speak, 75% of the minerals being traded at the London Stock Exchange are coming from Africa, and none of them are owned by us, the children of Africa. There's something wrong with that situation. But the good news is, in spite of that exploitation of centuries, in spite of the continued presence of multinationals who continue to siphon trillions of dollars out of Africa every year, studies are showing that they've only tapped into maybe 10% of Africa's wealth. And every day, more and more natural resources are being discovered in your beloved continent. So you see, we are endowed with an amazing continent. No matter how much they try to exploit Africa, the riches are limitless. And that is who you are. And that's where you come from. And you own that. The question is, as an African diaspora, are you even aware of that? Are you even aware of what is going on in your Africa? So we are here to say, for those of us in the diaspora, we are privileged to live in this country, in the United States. We live in whatever countries that we live. We have made lots of friends, even your friends who are not Africans, who are not African diaspora. They need to know. Because when it comes to trading, it's about relationships. So in my case, and I talk about the United States, I also realize that my own friends who don't look like me, they too don't even know about Africa. They don't understand Africa. So while we talk about organizing in order to take the driver's seat of Africa's development, we must also make sure that we talk to our friends, because they need to come along as long as they understand we are leading this show. For us to lead the show, we must know the facts and what the facts are. So today, the conversation is about letting you know, my brothers and sisters, that mining is where we are going to, is how we are going to reclaim our economic liberation. Let me give you a simple example. If I were to give any of you, my sons and daughters, $40 million, you can, and I'll give you that $40 million and I'll tell you in 3 days I want it back. Well, guess what? I will send you to a young man in Ghana, or a young man in South Sudan, or a young man or woman in DRC, or Tanzania, or Uganda, who I know right now as we speak. All those countries I've mentioned, I know people who are sitting at a minimum of 1,000 kilograms of gold. You heard me. As we speak, I can connect you with someone in those countries that is sitting on 1,000 kilograms of gold. So what you will do, my son or daughter, you will fly into Ghana. You will immediately connect with that individual. You go to the refinery. You confirm that the gold is indeed gold, that is not copper covered with a little bit of gold, which that happens too. Once you confirm that what you have indeed is gold, you pay your taxes. And in Ghana, they've simplified the process so well. At the airport, that's where the refinery is. You confirm that is your gold, and they're jets waiting at the airport, ready to fly into Dubai, fly into wherever you want them to go. And you pick up your gold from Accra, you pay 40 million, 45 million for your gold, and you fly into Accra, into Dubai. As you land into Dubai, you sell your gold for whatever the going rate is for that day. Right now, it's averaging around 55,000 per kilo. So you would have converted your $40 million, depending on what you negotiate, and within 6 hours flight to Dubai, you have made 10 million, and you pay your mama back. This, my brothers and sisters, is happening every day in Africa. People are going to Africa poor, and they come back rich in no time.
I think this video is so important that I would strongly suggest, recommend, encourage you to share it with as many people as you can. I think this is a video that should be seen by all African people in the world. Also, please remember to like and subscribe to this channel so that it can grow over time. Thank you.
Now, what we want to talk about here is ADDI. We are saying we're not going to take the gold into Dubai. Picture a situation that we buy that gold. And we now looking at buying and owning our own bank. We now put that gold into a vault in our own bank, because keep in mind, the people in Dubai who are buying that gold from Africa, the people in Asia, China, Hong Kong, they're keeping the gold in their vaults, in their bank vaults, and issuing financial instruments. They are keeping that gold in their bank vaults and issuing financial instruments. Now I need you to follow me closely here. So now this person in Dubai, this person in Hong Kong, this person in China who got the gold, and you got your $55 million, and you go back and pay mama back 40 million. Now you got a little bit of money and you're so happy you think you've done it. No, you have not. You just bled your Africa in broad daylight. Because the person who took the gold in Dubai, in Hong Kong, in China, the bank goes into their bank vault. The gold goes into their bank vault. And they issue a financial instrument. And these instruments can be traded on the world market in 10-month blocks. And guess what? That is where the real money is. So let's say your 1,000 kilograms of gold, it is now bought, you got your 55 million and you ran away and you thought you had arrived. They take that 1,000 kilos, it is worth 55 million. They put it in a bank vault. They issue a standby letter of credit that is worth 55 million. For 10 months, depending on what you negotiate with the banks, you can get loan to value, sometimes 100%, depending on what bank you're using. But let's say you even get as little as 50% loan to value. That means you're going to be getting $27 million a month for 10 months. You heard me. $27 million a month. That's the lower end for 10 months. You would have converted your initial 45 million investment into 270 million at the lower end in 10 months. This is how the Tiger 5 nations were built. They were built with paper money. So not only do you end up with 270 million in 10 months, you still own your gold because your gold is sitting in the bank vault. And you can turn around and go back into another 10-month cycle. Are you beginning to see what's going on? Are you beginning to see why the other nations are developing? Because they are siphoning the gold out of Africa. That's just gold. We're not talking about other minerals. There are many. I'm just giving you a simple example of what can be done. This is what we're talking about. Addressing the pivotal issues of economic development. Owning a bank. So picture a situation that ADDI and her children and the members, we also begin to say, what is in Africa belongs to us. We want to trade in gold. We want to own a bank. But in our case, instead of sending the gold out of Africa, let's go in a systematic way of acquiring banks, buying gold, acquiring gold mines. Right now, as we speak, my brothers, there are gold mines you can pick up for 1 million, bang. Gold mines with thousands of estimated They talk about in terms of tons of whatever amount of gold, X amount of gold per ton. So how many tons are still on the ground? We'd say anywhere from 5 kilos per ton to 20 kilos per ton to 50 kilos per ton, depending on how rich that particular mine is. You're talking mines that are sitting on billions of dollars, ready to be acquired. And our people are ready to sell them. Because owning that land when you're hungry, it doesn't help you. I can tell you right now, as I'm talking to you, I can think of 10 mines under 3 million that I know right now that I could get you to get into a contract and you can own those mines. So what I'm talking about right now, like I said, I can connect you with people with gold who are ready to sell you the gold. I can connect you with people with mines that are there ready to sell. Guess what else I can also do? I can connect you with banks all over Africa that are being forced to either capitalize or be absorbed. You can also grab those banks for fairly cheap. So now picture that situation. As the ADDI family, the private sector of ADDI is ADDH. We go into gold trading, we buy the gold, and we stop the bleeding of gold out of Africa. We own a bank, we keep our gold in our vault, and we issue financial instruments. And that's how we're going to fund the building of our Africa. If we can take 1,000 kilos of gold and convert it into 270 million every 10 months. Now picture if we, at a minimum. Now picture if we have 5,000 kilos of gold. Now 10,000 kilos of gold. You see how easily we can build our Africa with our own natural resources. That is just gold. We haven't gotten into diamonds. We haven't gotten into coltan.
Cooling on a couch, watching TV. No, I'm feeling nothing but lazy. Feeling to some nothing else to do. Might as well go to the board and drop something brand new. Feeling on the dice, throwing shit down. Making me hard to the sound. About to stop. Hungry, then I'm up for the plug now. Cause I found out you liking this. Would you want it back? Would you want it back? Would you want it?
Coltan alone, over 65% of coltan in the world comes from the DRC. Lately, I'm hearing rumors that the satellite images are showing that there are even larger reserves of coltan in South Sudan than the reserves in DRC. And why is coltan so important? Think of all the cell phones in the world. Think of all the laptops, the electric batteries in the world. They all need coltan, those microchips. Without the coltan, they can't function. Now you're talking power here. Can you imagine if Africa was to come together and say every microchip that requires coltan must be manufactured in Africa? If that doesn't happen, no go. We can send the world into withdrawals. This is our reality. This is how much power Africa has. We're just not utilizing it. The world knows it. If this coltan was in Europe, you bet every cell phone, not just the microchip, but everything to do with cell phones will be manufactured in Europe. They will demand that. If this coltan was in China, forget it. It would never get out of China. All the laptops, all the cell phones, all the electric batteries will be manufactured in China. But when it comes to Africa, we just sit back because we have been defeated for far too long. Look at copper. We have multinational companies that have been mining copper all over Africa. And what really gets me with some of the multinationals, they don't even pay taxes. They don't even pay taxes. They siphon the continent and they send their returns to safe havens. The exploitation when it comes to what's in the ground in our beloved Africa is staggering. It is frightening, scary to some point. But what's even sad and more disappointing is our inability to push back against exploitation. But our inability goes back because we are not united. We have 55 different countries fighting to defend themselves as little individual countries. It's not going to work. How does Togo defend herself against the world? How does Namibia defend herself against the world? How does Congo Brazzaville? It was all by design. That's why I keep reminding all of you that Berlin Conference is still alive. So we are like someone fighting with a pinky finger. That would be Gabon, or someone fighting with a thumb. That would be Nigeria. When we could fight with a fist and throw a better punch. We have failed to come together and unite and create that unity of purpose. While I understand that it is difficult for a businessman in Malawi to think continental, while I understand it's difficult for a youth in Equatorial Guinea to think continental, I understand one thing, however, that the African diaspora are in a position to think continental. We are in a position to look at Africa with a bird's eye view. We are in a position to also financially pool our financial resources together and look around us and see what other diaspora groups have done. Ask for the voices of the Irish diaspora. Their voices are loud and clear. Ask for the voices of the Jewish diaspora. Their voices are loud and clear. Ask for the voices of the Chinese, the Mexicans, the Indians. Their voices are loud and clear. So now, the question becomes, where do we come in as African diaspora? Why can't we emulate that which is around us and learn from what others have done? I often share with all of you the 13 Jewish men who met in Tel Aviv after Holocaust. The decisions they made, the strategies they come up with on that day in 1945 are decisions that have led to the strong, powerful Jewish people that they are today. There are only 15 million Jews, diaspora, in a little bitty country called Israel, which is basically a desert. Look how powerful they are. Because they understood that unity of purpose, and they understood the importance of pulling their financial resources together. Now, on the other hand, look at us, African diaspora, over 400 million of us, and the largest piece of land called Africa, with everything and anything the world could ever need. The continent that the rest of the world are looking to for their needs. There's not a single strategic planning session by the West and the East, for that matter, that doesn't start with Africa. For everything they need is and can be found in Africa. Unity of purpose is what we are here to discuss. To look at ourselves in the mirror and ask yourself, is this the world that I want to leave behind for my children? I would hope the answer is no. Keep it simple, just keep it right there. Look at your children and say, is this the world I want to leave behind for them? Let's be fair. Let's be honest with ourselves. As Black people around the world, our conditions are deplorable. And we are the only ones who can change our circumstances. The conversation today is saying, let's not dance around the issue. It's about reclaiming our natural resources. It's about going for the gold, and mining is where it's at. Mining is where it's at. And then you take that mining and you link it up with banking, it's over. That's how they did it. Take mining, link it up with banking, and the game is over. So as ADDI, we have those connections. We have mines lined up that needs to be bought. We have ability to buy gold. We have access to people with gold. And we're also aware of a network of banks that are ready for recapitalization. And we're here to open the doors for you all, to pull your funds together. Let's help you go home. Partner with your friends. We've all made friends, but keep in mind, this is not just about us African diaspora. We want to be on the driver's seat, but we also want, you can bring your friends that you have made living in the diaspora. We have friends who are well-meaning for Africa. We want you to join hands with the friends that you have made wherever you live. Let's go home to Africa and reclaim our gold. Let's go home to Africa and address the issue of lack of economic empowerment at the root where it all started. Let's not waste time playing with the leaves and the branches. Mining is where it's at. Banking is where it's at. And I am speaking Southern now. Let's go home to Africa and claim our gold. ADDI is saying, we know where the gold is. We know those banks that need help. We know where the mines are. We want to help you empower yourselves, and we want to help you go home and reclaim what belongs to you. I'll pause for a moment. There are many other things that we need to talk about. We have the Wakanda City Trade Fair coming up in December 2nd to December 13th. It is during that trade fair, we're going to show you how we intend to take our children of Africa home. If you're interested in starting in Ghana, you want to register your company in Ghana, we are there to facilitate. We want to make sure that we give you the cover that you need. We want to make sure that you can go and start a business in Ghana and never have to worry about somebody taking advantage of you. As we speak, we already have an office in Ghana now, in Cape Coast. So anybody, any diaspora that's going to Ghana, we urge you to be sure to reach our office in Ghana. And if you need any assistance, we'll be more than happy to help you. All we ask is please go to our addi.org, become a member, so we can all begin to speak with one voice. But we mean business. We are no longer just talking. We are organizing to go home. Come April next year, Wakanda City of Return, East Africa, we're going to be launching it as well. And pretty soon following that, it'll be Wakanda City of Return, Southern Africa. We're no longer just talking. We are walking the talk. So join our ADDI. Let's create a family of children of Africa that are simply saying, I do not wish to leave this world the way it is for my children, and I'm doing something about it. Let's join hands and build the Africa that we want. It starts with you having a conversation with image in the mirror and making a commitment to your children and generations to come. Thank you.